January 2023 bombing of a Richmond Hill home. Right now, I want to show you some video. This is of the home, the aftermath of that explosion. 37-year-old Stephen Glosser and a 34-year-old Caleb Kinsey are facing multiple charges, including use of an explosive to commit another felony offense and possession of an unregistered destructive device.
Two men, a homemade bomb, and a python. This isn't a movie plot, but a real-life horror tale from Georgia. In the quiet town of Richmond Hill, two men, Stephen Glosser, age 37, and Caleb Kinsey, age 34, concocted a chilling plot. Their target? A woman with whom Glosser had a previous relationship.
The indictment claims the two men conspired to place the victim under surveillance with the intent to kill, injure, harass, or intimidate. Those methods, such as shooting arrows into the victim's front door.
The duo was indicted on federal charges of bombing the woman's house, threatening to scalp her, and horrifically, threatening to feed her daughter to a python. Their malevolent scheme began in the winter of 2022. For 2 months, from December to January, they put their victim under relentless surveillance. Their intent was clear and terrifying: to kill, injure, harass, or intimidate their victim. The twisted discussions they had during this period were nothing short of nightmares. Ideas ranged from shooting arrows into the woman's front door to mailing her dog feces or even dead rats.
And releasing a large python into the victim's home. To eat the victim's daughter, leading up to the explosion on January 13th. Both Glosser and Kinsey are in custody awaiting trial.
One gruesome plan involves scalping the woman, an act so cruel it seems torn from the pages of a horror novel. But perhaps the most horrifying of all their schemes was the threat of releasing a large python into the victim's home, with the explicit intent of having it devour the woman's innocent daughter. The duo meticulously planned their sinister actions. Glosser used the vast web to locate the woman's home, mapping out a path to her house. Meanwhile, Kinsey purchased tannerite, a brand of binary explosive targets used for firearms practice, online and began crafting an explosive device at Glosser's home. Their machinations were not just the stuff of idle threats or empty words. The terror was just beginning as they mapped out a path to her house and purchased the materials for a homemade bomb. The stage was set for a nightmare in Georgia, a tale of terror that would shake the quiet town of Richmond Hill to its core. Little did the woman and her daughter know, they were at the center of a horrifying plot, one that would soon explode into a chilling reality. On a chilling morning in January, the nightmare became a reality. A deafening explosion shattered the pre-dawn silence of Richmond Hill, Georgia. The new home of a woman who had only just moved in with her daughter the day before was reduced to rubble in a blink of an eye. As the sun began to peek over the horizon, emergency services were already swarming the scene. The call had come in at 5 in the morning, a terrified voice reporting an explosion on Demyries Lake Court. As they navigated through the wreckage, the grim reality of the situation began to sink in. This was not an unfortunate accident. It was a calculated act of terror. A multi-agency investigation was soon underway, spearheaded by Georgia's Office of Commissioner of Insurance and Safety Fire. The cause of the explosion: an improvised explosive device, an IED, comprised of a binary explosive compound. This wasn't the work of amateurs. The explosive had been meticulously designed to cause maximum damage, a chilling testament to the malice that had been harbored by the two culprits. The woman and her daughter, though shaken, were miraculously unharmed. They had been on the other end of the house when the blast occurred, a twist of fate that likely saved their lives. But as they surveyed the ruins of their home, they knew their ordeal was far from over. The terror was still very much alive, lurking in the shadows, waiting for its next opportunity to strike. In a twist of justice, the two men were eventually captured. Stephen Glosser, the scorned ex-lover, was apprehended locally in Georgia. His accomplice, Caleb Kinsey, had fled the state, only to be arrested in Louisiana. Their spree of terror had finally come to an end. A multi-agency investigation had followed the bombing. It was a collaborative effort that led to their capture, the authorities piecing together the horrifying puzzle. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Georgia soon presented an indictment against these men. The charges were as chilling as their crimes. Stalking was just the beginning, a sinister prelude to their violent intent. The two men were also charged with conspiracy to use an explosive to commit a felony, showcasing their calculated malice. They had not only planned to terrorize this woman, but they had also acted on it, using an explosive to commit another felony offense. But their criminal inventory didn't stop there. Possession of